In Pursuit of My Erection. I was in my shrink's office, sitting on the comfortable couch looking around while she was reading her notes from my previous visit. The office was well furnished. The furniture was picked to calm you down, and there were many plants on the windowsill, and one big one on the floor with big leaves. I'd never seen a plant like it before, and I always spent some time looking at it. The wall behind the flower was decorated with the doctor's diplomas and certificates written in cursive, which made them indecipherable. Still, the diplomas made known that she'd graduated from a medical school and had specialized in psychiatry, which made her fit to treat me. "So how do you feel?" says Dr. Miranda Noor, after she'd read the notes. "I've been good, mentally. I've been experiencing dyskinesia, a pretty bad one," said I, the complex word which I'd researched online. It means involuntary, erratic, writhing movements of the face, arms, legs, or trunk. "Oh," sighs Dr. Noor. She's a middle-aged Indian woman. "Did you try taking vitamin E? That helps with dyskinesias." Vitamin E? I've tried it. No change at all. My feet keep moving and the muscles are contracting. I'd like to change my antipsychotic to something else. "You know, you've been stable on Abilify for many years. Are you sure you want to try something that might not work as well? There is Cogentin. That can help." "I've read about it. It only masks the symptoms. I don't want to end up with tardive dyskinesia. Maybe I should just try staying on lithium only." "I would advise against that. You might not be stable only on lithium. Bipolar disorder is usually treated with a mood stabilizer and an antipsychotic. If you want, you can try some other antipsychotics. I have samples of Vraylar. Would you like to try that?" "What's Vraylar?" "It's an antipsychotic which has fewer side effects related to dyskinesia, compared to Abilify." "Sure," I perked. "Let me try it." She opened a drawer of her desk and looked in it. When she bent over to look, I could see the wall behind her, where she had a few drawings, probably drawn by her patients. There was naivete in the drawings, as if they were drawn by inexperienced artists. One of the drawings captivated me. It represented a furry figure that resembled the number 8, but with a clock for a face. It spooked me a bit, and I remembered it well. What could it represent? Your time is up? Time is ticking away? Many interpretations were possible, but before I could think of something else, Dr. Noor sat back in her chair and placed 2 boxes on the desk. "Vraylar," she said. "Try it. It might work better for you." We talked some more about side effects, which included the possibility of akathisia, restlessness, and then I took off. The next few weeks were full of hope. I switched to the new medication. My mind seemed clearer. I could concentrate better than before. The dystonic movements started to diminish. In the second week or so, I realized that I hadn't had an erection since I started taking Vraylar, and altogether my libido had gone down the drain. I called and scheduled an appointment with Dr. Noor. "That Vraylar gives me erectile dysfunction," was the first thing I blurted out when I was in the doctor's office. "You're kidding me," Dr. Noor said. "Vraylar's not known for doing that." "It does that to me." Dr. Noor gave it a thought. "Well, maybe I can prescribe you a medication for erectile dysfunction." "You mean Viagra?" I shouted in disbelief. "There are better medications than Viagra, but yes, essentially something like it." I considered it. I'd never had a problem in that area, and as people say, one shouldn't fix what is not broken. At the same time, I had to adjust to the circumstances. "Okay, let's try that." The doctor wrote me a script for tadalafil and sent me home hopeful. So I tried the erectile dysfunction pill, but that didn't work either. There went the hope through the window. I then decided to wean myself off the antipsychotic medication. I stopped taking it, and for a week, I was all right. My mind got clearer, and I got a surge of energy. I was also in a better mood. Altogether, everything was going all right. One of those days, I went with my friend Kevin to a lake, an hour away from Binghamton, the city I lived in. There, I started conversing with some guy who was fishing, a random guy, and we had a beautiful heart-to-heart conversation about politics and the events of the day. My friend Kevin asked me when we parted with the guy, "Are you feeling okay?" "Yeah, why?" "Because you're talking to strangers." "Are you on your medications?" "Sure I am," I said. The same night, while I was browsing Facebook, a picture of a robot's head popped up in my feed. A laser was shooting the robot in the face. It was just that, a robot's head being shot by a red laser. I didn't know why, but something in that picture influenced me deeply and made me feel very strange. I felt rebellious. It was as if someone somewhere was sending that picture as a message to fight against authority. I mean, not an authority on Earth, more like cosmic authority, to fight against someone whose burden we all experienced. That could have been God or the devil, I wasn't sure, but one of them. I started sending messages over Facebook to some of my friends, "Let's go for a kill," or something like that, thinking that they would realize what I meant without entirely knowing who I wanted to kill. Still, I needed to create a team against that powerful being. Suddenly, my computer froze. Aha, I thought. The one I am against realized what I'm doing and locked my computer. I felt a strong fear and that I needed to be among people for protection. I ran out of my apartment. It was Friday night, and the streets were filled with students from Binghamton University and sunny Broome. I mixed with the crowd. The further towards downtown I walked, the more crowded the sidewalk became. The crowd had their strange hackles. "Oh God" and "Jesus Christ," someone would raise their voice. To me, that sounded like a prayer or a sort of attempt to communicate with God, as if we were in hell. Maybe we exist in hell, went through my head, and people unconsciously are trying to call for God to save them from this place. I was walking with the crowd. I was downtown and was looking for a way to kill the devil. I'd made up my mind that the devil had usurped the seat of God, and he was ruling over us all here on earth. I needed a weapon to kill him. A shady pawn store down a sketchy alley attracted my attention, and I stepped in. There were phones, watches, and other pawned items under the glass counter. Two guys reeking of weed were sitting behind the counter and talking to each other. Excuse me," I said. "Do you have a weapon? I want to kill someone," I emphasized, and looked at them sincerely. I was sure that they realized what I meant by someone. The guys looked at me and then at each other. "There are no weapons here," one of them said. "There are no such weapons in this country," said the other, solidifying my delusion. "Okay, thank you," I responded and left. I decided to get out of downtown and the crowd. A group of students was sitting on the stairs in front of an administrative building. "Do you have a cigarette?" I asked. They shook their heads. One of them said, "We have tobacco pouches, though. You put it behind your gum. It's like a cigarette. You want to try it?" I looked at the guy who talked to me. I was sure that the group were aliens or angels, something like that, and were giving me the power to continue on my journey to dethrone the devil in the form of tobacco. I took the pouch, put it behind my gum, and walked on. At that time, I started to doubt myself. I was undoubtedly delusional. A part of me was saying that I needed help before I did something stupid. I'd been in a mental hospital because I got in a fight with police officers 20 years ago when I had my first manic episode, and have been quite stable after that. I needed time to think. A figure passed me by. I looked at how he went under the stairs of another administrative building. It was as if he showed me a way to safety. I went under the stairs. The man, who I saw getting under, wasn't there. I decided to stay under the stairs for a while, to take a break, so to speak, and to clear my mind. I lay on the ground and closed my eyes. The music from different bars downtown was reaching me. For some reason, the music, which was a mixture of pop, country, and rock, all sounded like church music, and it was very calming. I heard police sirens, which were getting nearer. A few police cars passed by on the street. Are they looking for me? I wondered. After all, I had said that I was looking for a weapon to kill someone. The pawn shop guys might have called the police. I lied down for another 10 minutes or so, and I felt better. A beeping sound was coming from a door to the building. I thought that it could be a beacon that could teleport me outside of Earth, so I went there. It was a camera, blinking with a red signal as if disconnected, I thought. I left my secret place behind the stairs and started for the police station. It seemed as if the police were the devil's subordinates, and he would be somewhere in the station. A canine police car with a dog who seemed happy to see me was parked in front of the station. The dog sniffed me through the small holes in the back window of the car. I passed by and saw a black garbage bag thrown further on. Inside there was a bicycle pump. That is the weapon that can kill the devil, I thought. It's symbolically represented as a pump. I took the pump and walked towards the Washington Bridge, which goes over the Chenango River. On the other side of the river, graffiti was drawn on the flood wall. They looked like marks that I had to follow. From one graffiti to another one, I reached a place where a big pipe in which a person could walk standing, carrying the water from a small brook, was leading to the river. Graffiti was written on the wall next to the entrance to the pipe, which said, "Annie loves Big Dick." Aha, another code, I thought. The message of that graffiti was to love each other. I jumped in the water, which was up to my waist, and started walking towards the tunnel. The tunnel seemed long and dark. A writing on the wall to the entrance of the tunnel was, "Vampires like the darkness." I started walking up. So vampires live here, I thought. Maybe they also hate the devil. Probably I should leave them the pump, the weapon I found in front of the police station. They would know what to do with it, I thought, and dropped the pump in the water. The tunnel was very dark and scary. I started talking loudly, saying, "Annie loves Big Dick, and Big Dick loves Annie." We have to love each other, don't we? Whoever is against us loving each other is the bad guy. Let's all love each other as Annie and Big Dick. I kept walking and talking to the end of the tunnel. No vampire jumped on me. I reached a bridge over the brook and climbed over it. I was right next to a Wise supermarket. I started roaming the parking lot, crossing over a fence, trying to find a portal which will lead me to somewhere I needed to go. I walked up the street to a school. A sign on a lamppost said 25-mile speed limit. I thought that I had to run 25 miles an hour to breach the space continuum and be transferred to another dimension, and gave it a try, but maybe I didn't run fast enough because I got tired and sweaty. I was still on the same street. Finally, I turned right on Pennsylvania Avenue and went to the entrance of Binghamton General Hospital. A sign read in big letters, "Emergency." Well, I definitely needed emergent care since I was pretty manic, so I walked towards the entrance. "I think I need help," I said to the person behind the glass separation in the waiting room. "I need mental health help. I'm having a mental health crisis." So I was admitted to a psychiatric floor. I stayed a few days in the hospital, and when I felt better, which means sane again, I was discharged on a different antipsychotic called Zyprexa. For a few days I felt well, but then I got erectile dysfunction again. A week after being discharged from the hospital, I was sitting in Dr. Noor's office, staring at the painting with a clock instead of a face. I had just told the doctor about my adventures and the side effects of Zyprexa, which besides ED included a ravaging appetite and pretty severe drowsiness. "So what do you want to do?" the doctor asked. "Do you want to try another antipsychotic?" How about I try the medication that you mentioned before? Cogentin? You mean you want to get back on Abilify and try Cogentin? Yeah. And so it was. I was switched back to my old antipsychotic. I got my erection back in about a week, and the dystonic spasms were diminished. Now I just wait, knowing that other side effects might soon kick in. I guess living on an antipsychotic is just like that, full of surprises. You never know when the time for a new side effect will come. But while I'm waiting, life still goes on. And it's not a bad life. It's just that sometimes it seems like a life spent staring at the face of a clock, which is ticking. You never know when the 12th hour will come.